Hello, it's Monday Life O'Clock, and you're welcome to this week's Monday Life section with Jamal Okoli. So tell me, what has been the funniest or the messiest homework struggle you've had with your child, right? I'm sure every parent with a young child, most parents with a young child would have had a moment or two of struggles, of homework struggles. I mean, parents genuinely want to help out in the homework at home, especially for those of us with young children or children within the ages of 0 to 6. You're battling with your tired self from work, from home chores, and all of that. Just want to help out, but then you meet a resistance that's like a child is like telling you, "No, I don't want to do the assignment," and all of that. And then your genuine interest meets the resistance that keeps both you and your child frustrated. Now, this doesn't have to be an ongoing experience, all right? So, what exactly do you do? That's what this video is about. That's what I am about to show you with just one strategy. You heard that right. One strategy that will change a homework experience and atmosphere in your home. All right. So, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome to Monday Live. Every Monday, we have a live section like this where you get to ask questions on the topic for the day and all of that. And hey, our Monday section is always Monday lives are always based on a curriculum. So this month we're talking about school, 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 school. We want to prepare ourselves and our children for school before September. We don't have to wait until September. And that's why we are having the Getting Your Child Ready for School Masterclass, which is a paid section. But hey, every Monday, you're going to have a free tip, what gives you a preview of what the masterclass is going to be. And you're welcome. I'm glad to be yours. So I am your early years parent coach, Choma Okoli. You're most welcome. So let's get into the conversation for the day. So what are we talking about today? It's the one strategy that eliminates homework struggle at home. And let me say this. I've seen and heard from parents who have children in primary school, like we call it in Nigeria, or grade school, and children who are in secondary school or college or higher grade, rather, who are battling with sticking to assignment routines at home. And so parents are, having to yell, having to, threaten and having to do all sorts to get their child or children to do their assignments. You and I who have children within the age of 0 to 6 years, if we maximize this window, hmm, if you utilize this strategy and do it well enough for 1 year, you won't have a problem with your 4 or 5 year old doing his or her assignments. And I say this from the place of experience. My first child will be turning 5 by this week Thursday. So on the 21st of August, my son will be 5. And we stopped fighting about assignments some 2 years ago. Yeah, some 2 years. That's when he was 3. We stopped fighting over assignment routines as far back as 2 years ago. And this can also be your experience. So if we don't do it now and assume that as they grow older, they will learn responsibility and all of that, it doesn't happen like that. The earlier you start training your child for it, the better for you. And I'm happy you're embarking on this journey with me. All right. So before we get into this one strategy, there are 5 things we need to note. 5 things that I want us to note. Okay. The first thing on that 5 notes is the child's age. You have to put your child's age into consideration. If your child gets to school, gets to an institutionalized learning center before the age of 3, you're likely going to have more assignment struggles because before the age of 3, your child just wants to play. The child doesn't understand the concept of assignments and homework, right? So you wanting your child to sit down, hold pencil, hold crayon, trace, and all of that, and all of that. And most times, the parents will come with the idea of this is business time. You need to sit down. You need to do assignments. But that child just wants to run around. Okay, so if your child is less than 3, you have to be more patient than those of us who have children that are older than 3. All right. So this is important. This is very important. All right. Now, aside the age of your child determining your child's understanding of the concepts of assignments or homework in the first place, you also need to put into consideration that the younger your child, the shorter the attention span. So the attention span of a child that is 2 years would be somewhere between 4 minutes and 6 minutes, with an average of 5 minutes. And then the attention span of a child that is 5 years is somewhere between 10 and 15. So you have somewhere around 12 or 13 minutes as the attention span. So these are key things you need to understand. The younger your child, the lesser the attention span. And how this comes into play is that you know that if you have an assignment that would take like 10 minutes or 20 minutes, your child should have, and your child is 3 years, right? Your child should have at least two breaks in between. At least two breaks in between. Not because the child is irresponsible or lazy, but because the child's attention span is still developing, and you should give room for the child to still see homework as fun, as something he is part of, and not something you're imposing on him or her. This is very important. Then the next note is development. And here I'm not talking about developmentally appropriate activity or stuff like that. No, I'm talking about your child's brain, individual brain and motor development. If your child's hand development is not optimal, or the child hasn't been practicing with the hand, maybe with feeding self, holding things, trying to scribble and all of that. If you don't train the hand muscle, your child is going to struggle with homework, especially homework that would entail writing. And even in reading, of course, you need to prepare your child, you need to help your child attain these developments, right? They don't come automatic. They don't come automatic. So you need to avail your child the opportunity to develop these. And don't be in the place where, remember I said I'm not talking about developmentally appropriate age attached responsibilities or activities. I'm talking about your child's individualized motor and brain development. If it is not adequate, then you want to start working from it. It's something you help your child um come out from, and not something you yell or beat your child out from. This is critical. This is critical. And they are two different things. Yelling and beating and getting frustrated is easy, but calming down and asking the question, what is going on here? What can we do to help this child? And actually walking your child through it there are two different things. But your child needs the letter. Okay? Your child needs the letter. All right, and the third thing we are going to note in this conversation, is antecedents, what I call antecedents, right? Before you go into homework, before you go into, get your book and all of that, let's go to the dining table or wherever it is you're going to stay to do your assignment. What happened if you just finish yelling at a child? If you're still a yeller, if just having a rough moment with your child and then you say, "Go and get your assignment, let's do it," you should expect that there is going to be war as that assignment is going on, if at all the assignment will go on. So what is the antecedent? Right? What happened, or what has been happening before the moment that assignment is going to be done? And then, did the child ask for something? Did the child make a demand that wasn't met? Did the child ask for something that was ignored? What exactly was happening before the assignment time? And this brings us to the point that there should be a time for homework in your home. Homework shouldn't be something you do when your child has had dinner and is tired and wants to go to bed. No. And homework shouldn't be something you do when you're less busy. There has to be a time, right? There has to be a schedule for assignments in your home. And aside making it a schedule, There should also be a place for the assignment. One of the things about habit building is that if you do it at a particular time, in a particular space, it naturally gives your brain the cue that once it is this time, let me know it is time for assignment. Even if I'm not talking about the assignment or homework, remind me. And that is the step, that is the foundation for self-discipline. Discipline that is outside of self is not discipline at all. If you have to enforce your child to do homework, then your child hasn't developed self-discipline over that. And it's something you should focus more on, right? Because you won't be there every time. You won't be there every time. Okay. So establish routines around homework. Let it be done at a particular time in the day. Let it be done in a particular place, devoid of large noise, devoid of distractions and anything. Of course, screens should be turned off. Screens should be turned off. And if you're having to supervise your child, please do not press your phone or work on your screen, except except where the child is older to understand that okay, you're doing your assignments, I'm also doing my assignments, but my assignment this time is on the laptop or something else. But don't just be pressing phone for pleasure. For maximal connection during homework, please do not use screen. Okay? All right. So then another thing, the fourth thing we need to note is that during home is what happens during homework. Does your child feel in charge of this homework, or are you dominating it? Are you observing your child's effort? Is your child making effort at all, or the child is just there? Are you the one making the effort, or you're cooperating with your child? Because from around 3 years, you may have to guide your child in some homework, right? You may have to supervise your child directly and all of that and of that. But during the assignment, what happened? Are you backing orders up and down? Are you cooperating with your child, or you're just hovering around and waiting for him or her to stand up, and then you come hard on the child and all of that? We need to pay attention to what happens during the homework also. Then the last note is after homework, packing everything that was used, putting the books inside the bag so that the child doesn't forget it at home, and tidying up everywhere. Don't leave this to a house help. Don't do it alone. Let your child participate in it. Children who clear up after themselves at home do the same thing in school. And these are simple ways that your child learn to, these are simple ways we prepare our children to function better in social circles outside of the home. Outside of the home. This is very important. This is very important. And then at the end of the homework also, acknowledge your child's efforts. Acknowledge your child's effort and make a statement that says, I expect this to happen. This is how I expect our assignment to be every time. You did so well. I love how you were focusing on your assignments. I appreciate how you cooperated to, you manned your assignment and all of that. Say things that you could say, oh, you must be very proud of yourself for finishing your assignments. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. So that your child internalizes the victory of finishing his or her own assignment, and not you taking pride and saying things like, I'm always doing your assignment for you. If I am not here, you will not do it," and all of that. And you're eroding your child's self-esteem to boost your own pride, rather. You're taking from your child's self-esteem to add to your pride, and that's not okay. That's not okay. All right. Correct. So let's get to this one strategy finally. Now, this one strategy: do not take responsibility or ownership of your child's schoolwork or performance. I'm going to break it down, but let me say it again. The one strategy to eliminate homework struggles is: do not take responsibility or ownership of your child's schoolwork or performance. The moment you do that, then the work is on you and not on your child. And that's one thing you do not want. If a child feels that I go to school for mommy. At the age of 3, 4, 5, they may not be able to, say it, but the impression is being laid. So what's the point in starting out to do my assignment? Mommy will call my name or daddy will ask me about when he comes back. And then if I hadn't done it, he will maybe give me biscuits or give me something, give me a bribe or yell at me or something. And then but I'm just waiting for mommy and daddy to come around if I do my assignment. So when you establish a routine around assignments, your child knows that there is a time for assignments in this house. There's a time for ourselves. I'm not waiting. So right now, before school closed for the session, once my son comes back from school, he'll be the one that bring out the book from the bag and tell me, mommy, any assignment, or mommy, I was given assignment. I'll say, okay, drop it. Go get your pencil and your cleaner. He knows where his pencil and cleaner used to be. He'll go and fetch them. And then we'll start. Because assignment routine in my house is immediately you come back from school. Mhm. Immediately you come back from school, because I've tried bedtime, I've tried early in the morning before school, and they failed woefully. So we had to go for once you come back from school, we get right into it. There is no rest, there is no lie down, sleep, wake up. No, we don't do that. Of course, my son do not nap in at home when he returns from school, because he does that at school. So when he comes back from school in the afternoon, he just wants to play. He wants to do other things, wash plates, and all of that, and all of that. So that's how we do it. Now, getting your child involved in owning his or her own learning experience. For your child to get to that point, you need to back off yourself. You can't keep fronting, being on the front line. You're always shouting, get your assignments. Have you done your assignments? It's not time for assignments. Come and sit down here and do your assignments and all of that. And the moment, each time you do that, you're telling your child that I know that if I leave you, you will not own up to these assignments. I know you will not own up to it. And you're as like a self-fulfilling prophecy, your child will start behaving in line with what you're saying. In line with what you're saying. And it seems as if you're right. It seems as if I hadn't said it, if I each time I don't do it, this is what this boy does and all of that. But that's not it. It's simply you that have not given your child the opportunity to start taking responsibility for his assignments or for his schoolwork. Now, how do you achieve not taking responsibility for your child's school work? Number one, I've mentioned it, set a routine around school activities. Set a routine around school activities, assignments, waking up in the morning, bathing, packing lunch boxes, or dressing oneself up. Set a routine around it. Set a routine around it and enforce it. Okay? Now, make the moment before homework and a moment of connection. So most times when my child comes back from school, the first thing is I will take a hug and I ask him how was school today and all of that and all of that. And when we are done with all of those initial conversation, and then ask him, is there anything you want to, did anything happen in school today that you want to tell me about and all of that? It's a moment of connection. I'm giving him attention. He knows that my mommy sees me and all of that and all of that. And so there is a connection and everybody's in a good state. So make the antecedents pleasing. Even if your child has made a request that cannot be granted, okay, you could say things like, all right, let's get to the assignments when we finish your assignment to talk about it, especially if it is something that the answer is going to be a no. If the answer to your child's request is going to be a no, your child will most likely throw a tantrum or protest. And you don't want either you or your child to be in that state of protest before the assignment. So you could say, all right, let's finish our assignment. This is time for assignment. Let's finish it before we talk about that. If we do fast, then we'll come to talk about it really fast. Okay. So that's the second get the routine, okay, build antecedents, let the antecedents be a positive one that is a reinforcing for your child to sit and do his or her homework. All right, so the next thing is, how do you make your child feel at the end of each school activity? or at the end of anything he does about school activity. So if your child wakes up early in the morning to prepare for school, how about saying things like, you're up for school? I love that. I love that you woke up early to prepare for school. It means we'll go early today. Your child finished dressing up for school. You're like, you dressed up. That's fantastic. You should be really proud of yourself. And then your child comes home from school, you're asking, you're welcome, you give a warm hug and all of that. Now you're not just getting your child in a space where he or she looks forward to doing homework. You're getting your child to be in that space where they see school as an important part of their life, and they see everything that happens around school, especially at home, as pleasant. You may not control 100% the atmosphere in the classroom, but you can control 100% the atmosphere at home. Yeah. Now, the next is to have a regular communication with your child's teacher and school. So, how is your child performing at school? How is your child performing in other activities, in behavior, and all of that? You know what? If there is a problem in the classroom, which your child doesn't tell you about, or the class teacher doesn't tell you about, it's going to affect both the child's school activity in the classroom and the child's school related activities at home. So you want to have regular communication patterns or regular communication activities with your child's teacher. It could be a phone call. It could be going to meet with the teacher at an agreed day of the week, or alternate week and all of that. But by all means, be in that state where you can ask your child's teacher questions. You don't always have to wait for PTAs. You don't always have to wait until something big now happens and you're reacting and all of that. You don't have to wait until that point. Yes, you don't have to wait until that point. All right. And then the last on that list is, if your child says he's not doing his schoolwork, he's not doing his homework at home, don't go and do the homework just so your child presents a finished homework at school. Because it gets your child to that point where he's saying, well, if I don't do it, mommy or daddy will do it for me and put it in my bag and I'll submit it. And that's a foundation of irresponsibility you're sowing. Yeah. It's like, if your child doesn't want to do assignment, it's okay. Or your child has done half and said, I'm not doing again, it's okay, close it. The only job you will do is that let your child know that since you didn't finish your assignment, you return it to school this way and give it to your teacher. And then make sure, liaise with the teacher and ensure that there is a consequence for not completing or doing one's homework at all in school. It could be going out for recess. It could be anything, but not a punishment and not something that will shame the child, right? Not something that will shame the child. Something that will get the child to take responsibility to finish his or her own assignment or homework. All right. So with these five things I've mentioned, setting a routine, building an antecedent that encourages schoolwork, having regular communication with your child's school and with your child's class teacher and school. Okay, backing off completely and letting your child know that if you don't do your homework by yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. And then ensure that there is a consequence in place in the classroom, in your child's classroom, for anyone who didn't do his or her assignments. All right. So it's a synergy between you and your child's classroom. It's a synergy, and that's what families and schools should be and look like. Not, you know, not two opponents who are fighting to see who will win over your child's life. That's not how we should be. You, your child's teacher, and school should work in synergy to raise a child who loves learning and who is thriving academically. And hey, in conclusion, Getting your child or solving homework struggle is not the end of your child's academic journey or your child's lifelong learning experience. Laying that foundation is in your hands as a parent. Do not contract it out to any third party because no third party can do it as much and as enthusiastic as you. You don't have to wait for your child to get to 6 years, 10 years, 15, 20 before you start doing that job. This is the right moment to start doing it. And let your child see you also learning, see you reading, see you doing assignments, see you being motivated in doing things you call homework yourself. All right. And thank you so much for watching until this moment. If you're yet to subscribe, please hit the subscription button. Every Monday we come live in this channel, and then every Wednesday there is a video upload specifically for expectant parents. All right, and then on Fridays there is a short video upload also to keep your parenting in check and get you focused on things you can do, especially over the weekend. All right, so this is how I operate here, and I am yours faithfully, Choma Okoli, the founder of the Expedient Parent Academy. And do not forget, just in case you're wondering what the Reality Conclave is about, I'm going to drop a link in the comment section. You can read more about the Reality Conclave and see what it's about. It's a parenting community for parents who have children between the ages of 0 to 6. For me, I understand that there are lots of distractions, there are a lot of things calling for the attention of parents, especially young parents, all right? And so what the Reality Conclave program does is to refocus parents, get us to focus on what is important, which is family, and get us in that place where we are investing everything that is needful in the lives of the most important people in our lives, our family, and by extension, our children. Now, if you're a game and you love the concept, then I'm sure you want to be in the Reality Complete program. Check the link in the comment section to get started. All right. Thank you for coming here with me, and you have an amazing, amazing day and week ahead.